What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. I know I ain't made a video in about 2 weeks, which is a long time, right? But, you know, I had a lot going on family-wise. I've been sick myself, as you can hear in my voice. I'm still getting over a little cold. My son was sick, and he also had to get his tonsils removed and adenoids removed as well. So he just got that procedure done, and so I decided to stay away from YouTube for a while to give myself a break, having to work, so on and so forth, doing a whole lot. But I come back to YouTube to talk about to enlighten individuals about, especially young black men, about how energy works and how the energy that you put out into the atmosphere, it comes back to you, whether it's good or bad, and how you shouldn't play with dark energy. Sometimes you gotta leave dark energy where it's at and not play with it. So, as you all know, a lot of you may not know, I'm a media junkie. So I'm always looking on YouTube for interviews of whether it's interviews from entertainers, athletes, entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, so on and so forth. I just like watching different content and hearing different individuals' perspective on life, hearing their life story, how they got to where they were, so on and so forth. And so I subscribe to a lot of different channels who conduct interviews. One of the channels I'm subscribed to is Vlad TV. Now, I know a lot of individuals on my channel criticize Vlad a lot. They don't like Vlad. They're not the biggest fans of Vlad. I myself have criticized Vlad for certain interview methods he's used and certain questions that he's asked. However, I cannot deny that Vlad has great interviews on his channel. Interviews that you wouldn't expect, interviews from people that we haven't heard from in a while. You wouldn't expect this person to have such an interesting story. Vlad gets them to talk about certain situations, certain stories that have happened in their life. Or, you know, they individuals that aren't usually media friendly, but they come on Vlad and they have discussions, right? And so, it was like right before my son went to go have his tonsils removed, I'm watching this interview of a guy by the name of BTB Savage. Now, I'm not doing my due diligence by remembering where this brother is from. Is it Texas or something like that? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I'm probably on a way different side of the country, whatever. Maybe I'm incorrect. But y'all let me know if I'm wrong. It may be Texas or it may be somewhere else. Matter of fact, I'll correct myself in the comment section below. Nonetheless, I'm watching a guy named BTB Savage, and he talks about he tells a story of him being a victim of a home invasion / robbery, right? And, you know, the brother is talking about what happened, and I'm listening to him, and he's describing it very detailed. He's telling everything, how it happened, and, you know, painting a picture for the world to hear about what happened to him, where someone tried to encroach on him and his family. And because he was at the house with his son as well as his lady. And so he talks about the situation being a feature gone wrong. He talks about doing a feature with an artist. And, you know, he told the artist, he said at the time he needed the money, or he wanted the money, or he needed the money, or whatever. So he told the artist to come through, right? So he can do the feature. The guy comes through, and he comes through with another individual. I think the individual may be family of that collaborating artist or whatever. I forget if he was family or whatever. So the artist and the guy and the artist and the guy that was with him, they come into BTB Savage's spot where he was staying. And the artist or the artist individual he was with says, you know what, you forgot such and such in the car. So the collaborating artist, he goes to the car. And BTB Savage said at that point he felt like something was off, something was wrong, because normally the guy who comes with the artist will go get the equipment or whatever was left in the car, not the artist himself. So he thought that was a little fishy. So he goes to lock the door behind the artist as the artist is leaving to the car. So he says at this point he's left in the room with the individual that the artist brought with him. So the guy starts complimenting BTB Savage's jewelry. BTB Savage looks down, and as soon as he looks down at the jewelry piece that the guy was complimenting, he looks back up. The guy got a gun pointed out saying, "I'll give it up. I need all of that," right? Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. At that point, BTB Savage sees an opening. He starts to wrestle with the guy for the gun. The guy starts shooting. He hits the refrigerator a few times, and he's struggling with the guy. A struggle ensues. At a certain point, BTB Savage has an advantage on the guy where he can wrestle a gun away from him. He got him in a bad position where he can't really shoot and get off his shots the way he wants to. BTB Savage hollers for his girl to come out. His girl comes from the back. And as she's coming from the back, the artist he hears the artist shooting through the door. So the artist shoots through the door, and then they hear the gunshot stop from the artist in the hall. And so his girl gets a hold of a gun. She ends up killing the individual who was trying to rob BTB Savage in the house, right? She ends up killing him. BTB Savage talks about the whole story on Vlad. He lays out everything. But in the course of talking about the situation, the brother starts, in an interview, he starts saying certain things that could be taken as taunting the individuals who did the shooting. Starts talking about, I'm paraphrasing, how 20 of them could make up one of who he is who he is. 20 of them could make up who he is or whatever, and he could feel like that. But it's certain things that I'll continue to other things that he did. So after he was shot and all that, he takes a picture at the crime scene at his house, because they didn't clean up the blood and all of that. The police and stuff didn't clean up the blood and all that. Like, I guess I thought they do that, but maybe I'm wrong. They didn't clean up the blood. He posts up a picture, like flexing in the guy's blood or whatever, with the bloody little crime scene, flexing in the crime scene, flexing, and post it up on Instagram to taunt and boast and I don't know, to get a certain amount of. And again, I'm not trying to denigrate the brother, right? And I'll tell you why I'm not trying to denigrate the brother. But yeah, the guy posts up the picture at the crime scene with the guy's blood all around him. BTB Savage posts this picture of him flexing. And I'm like, yeah, that's distasteful. That is very distasteful. A little bit after that picture is taken, after that picture gets posted, BTB Savage ends up getting gunned down. He gets killed. Right? And it's a sad situation. I don't want to say rest in peace to that brother BTB Savage, for sure. Rest in peace to him. Especially with the way he talked about wanting to protect his son and not wanting his son to see what had happened in the house and all of that. He really cared for his son and really wanted the best for his son's safety, so on and so forth. And I understand that. And I understand that the guy, BTB Savage, was defending himself from being violated, because that's what happened. That brother was violated by some individuals that he thought was trying to do a feature with him. And I want to say this. We as human beings, it's perfectly fine for us to defend ourselves from dark energy. It's perfectly in your rights, and it's fine for you to defend yourself from dark energy. That dark energy came into his house, wanted to do harm to him and whoever in that house to get whatever they wanted. So he had a right to defend himself. Him and his woman had a right to defend themselves from dark energy. However, you don't antagonize dark energy. You don't spend your time taunting dark energy, taunting it for clout or whatever, or to seem, for street credibility, so on and so forth. And the guy may have not been doing it for street credibility, but he was taunting. He was taunting with that picture. Because what reason would you post a picture for? Besides taunting the people who did it, who tried to do something to you. You're taunting, you're trying to boast about something in a certain type of way, right? And so that is where things become dangerous. Because once you do that, you're inviting that dark energy back onto you. Now, everybody, I understand some people saying that because it's a reality. Those people probably could have already been trying to come for that brother. Or we don't even know if those situations are related or linked. We don't know. We don't know. So let me just say this. We don't know. I don't know. But it seems to be, it could be linked. And in that situation, yeah, them brothers could have already been trying to get him regardless. But I will say that it adds insult to injury when you're trying to taunt individuals. Because these individuals are still capable of coming back and doing something to you, even though you may have won that situation. But antagonizing people and taunting them, it leads to other type of things happening. And taunting and antagonizing dark energy, it's going to have the dark energy come right back to you. And I don't think that's the smartest thing to do. So when he posted that picture up in blood and taunting and all that, I said, oh man, that's not okay. That ain't right. And I know those things could end bad. And unfortunately, the brother lost his life, and it's horrific. But I want to teach young black men about, yes, you can defend yourself from certain situations, but to taunt it and to try to egg it on, that's when things go overboard. And that's when you cross the lines. And we have to know when to leave certain things where they're at. We have to learn when to leave certain situations where they at and leave it be. Certain things happen. Like there's an individual where a videographer in Chicago, he was robbed, and the robbery was tied to a high-profile individual who's in the rap industry right now from Chicago, right? he ain't as high profile as like the big artists, but he got a name, right? And the robbery was allegedly set up by one of these rappers. And the videographer does interview. He's done interviews talking about it, but he doesn't try to antagonize the individuals who did it. He's really He's really sad that he had to do that, right? And he's not not crying or anything like that, but he was like, yo, it was a bad situation. I defended myself. It was what it was. But I don't see that brother taunting individuals on Instagram or flexing about him taking that dude's life, because it's something that he really didn't want to do, excuse me, but he ultimately had to do it to save his life. And in that situation, that's cool. But when you saying certain things in interviews, when you posting pictures up in the dude's blood and flexing, that's when things get haywire. And some individuals want to blame Vlad for it. Like, oh my God, Vlad brought him on to the interview. He didn't even care about the young brother's music. To be fair to Vlad, I don't know one song from the brother, BTB Savage. No disrespect to the brother. I haven't heard one song from him. I don't know one song from him. Vlad probably doesn't know any music from the brother. But the brother had an interesting situation that occurred. And he lived to tell the tale of a bad situation. So Vlad does a job interviewing him. Vlad didn't make that brother post them comments, say certain things that he said in the interview that appeared as taunting. He didn't make that brother post that picture up in that brother's blood. He didn't. So I can't blame Vlad for that. Vlad was just trying to get the interview and see what happened, right? But certain things that you can talk about a situation without appearing to taunt a person for certain things. And I think that's what people have to remember. And the brother was, again, you posting and flexing in the blood, posting up in the dude's blood and all that. That person still got relatives or whatever out here. And they may take that a certain way and it be what it be. It's how you carry certain situations. It's kind of like, and again, it's two completely separate situations. Y'all remember when King Von was killed and by Quando Rondo's homie. And Quando Rondo could have came out and said, you know what? You know, my homie was just defending me. It was a very unfortunate situation. I didn't wish for that to happen or whatever. And he left it at that. It probably would have been cool. Not Dirk and them probably would have been mad still, but I'm saying, he made the situation worse by he going and getting a Dirk lookalike, looking like they kidnapping Dirk in the video after the whole situation. He talking about how he killed how they left a famous rapper and made a famous rapper a pact. They had a famous pact they made, talking about Vaughn. All of that, when you're doing all that type of antagonizing, using that, you're inviting dark energy by doing that. The way to kill the dark energy is to say, you know what, something unfortunate happened. My homie defended me. It was what it was, whatever. Leave it at that. But when you trying to go and trying to be super disrespectful back, when you trying to taunt and all this and all of that, that's when it goes left. Because again, if something happened like that to, and again, knock on wood, I would never want that to happen to me. But if I was in a situation, I would not be out taunting and trying to antagonize the people who did it. Because me, common sense, knowing that, hey, what's stopping them from trying to come and do it again? Right? And again, they could have maybe already trying to been doing something to their brother. Who knows? But it's a certain way you don't invite energy towards you. So there's certain things you could do to prevent that by not saying certain stuff you saying, posting up, flexing in the blood, all of that. That's when it gets too out of line. And a lot of times, young black men, we don't know how to keep stuff where it is and not take stuff to the next level or to the extreme. Let it go, not let it go, but let it be where it is, basically. You got the ups in that situation where you came out of that situation alive to where, you deaded the situation. Not trying to be funny when I say that, but yeah, you came out on top of that situation. Let it be where it is. You can discuss it, but don't taunt. That's the difference. That videographer that got robbed and he ended up shooting somebody and taking somebody's life and he got shot in the process, he doesn't brag and boast about it. He doesn't try to taunt the individuals who did it. And I think that's a difference in the way he talks about the situation. And that's a difference in that energy coming back to you. But the brother BTB Savage, when you taunting and you saying certain stuff and all of that and you talking, certain type of way, it's going to be individuals who are going to feel a way about that. You posting up your picture in their blood and all that. And, it appears as if you using that as a way to, you're trying to score points off of that death. You're trying to appear as, you're trying to use that to up your profile, so on and so forth. And it looks bad, and you invite that dark energy to you. You can defend yourself. Remember, black men, you can defend yourself against dark energy. but don't antagonize that dark energy because it's just gonna come right back unto you full force. And again, it's unfortunate that that brother lost his life, and you know his son has to hear him talking about this whole situation and growing up and seeing how this stuff play out. It's horrific, right? And again, my condolences to that brother and his family. But it's a certain way that you handle or conduct yourself when you're dealing with dark energy, dark forces like that. It's certain times you got to leave certain situations where it is after you have come out on top in that situation. Leave that where it is, and you can talk about it, but don't antagonize. And that's my piece from it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.